What's up, guys? I'm here to do my recap of the Steelers Browns game. Yes, I know that was week weeks ago now, but I'm here nonetheless. Um, it's pretty much the way I expected it to go. It one of those games, one of those games where one of those games where you know it's just a loss because Pittsburgh. I'm sorry about that. Because Pittsburgh and Mike Tomlin don't do very good versus the Browns at home since Ben retired. So with that out of the way, here's what went wrong. Uh, the offense couldn't get moving. The the defense played absolutely horrendous. Besides those, uh, I believe it was a forced fumble and an interception. We couldn't do anything with it. We sucked on fourth down as a fourth down defense. We sucked in the secondary, and yeah, it's just been really up and down. It's it's up and down right now, or in that game it was. So when I look at that game in particular, I'm thinking of the first thing I'm thinking of is on offense. The blocking was terrible. Dan Moore did terrible versus um, Myles Garrett. And I'm not necessarily on that boat of, well, he's having a good season, we should re-sign him. That's not the case. You do not sign somebody just based off of one good year. I I hope that he pans out, but then it begs the question to yourself, why did we trade up and draft Broderick Jones if we were just going to play him at right tackle, which is what he's mainly been through his Steelers career, which is only his second year, but still. And he's been twiddling his thumbs on Twitter, attacking Steeler fans and stuff, saying dumb shit like that. It's like like people are mad just because he's living, saying y'all are mad, and I'm living a great life. Yeah, you're living a great life, but your play on the field sucks. Your play absolutely is horrendous, Broderick. Now it was a tough game all the way around, but I look at this and I think, man, like there was so many minuses, so many flaws in that game. I'm sorry, I'm dealing with allergies. My sinuses are messing up. But so many miscues on offense. Russ did, above anything else, did his thing. He just didn't get any time or any help in these play schemes. It 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 just did not look good. Arthur Smith called a horrendous game in play calling. The coaching sucked. The play on the field, these players really sucked in that game. I believe we had one sack, and that was by Nick Herbig. by a team that, keep in mind, had given up almost 40, I think it was 46, 47 sacks in just in 11 games. Or 12 games, something like that. So yeah, that that right there is what kills me about it. And should have been getting pressure, but I'm tired. Here's one thing I'm tired of when it comes to this team. I'm tired of not getting a player like Mike Williams involved. Again, why trade for him if you're not going to use him? He had that one catch that got us the win versus Washington. In Washington, by the way. That was the only time they got him involved. We're now sitting here, I believe it's about to be week 12 of this freaking season, and instead of freaking, sitting there saying we got a good momentum in the bye, we lose to the Browns, and now that makes any team think that they can beat us. We're number one in the AFC North. Or AFC. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Sorry if I'm moving the camera a little bit. I'm trying not to shake it too much. Okay. Yeah. We're first in the AFC North. But right behind us is the Ravens, and we have to pray that the Eagles on Sunday can beat them, and that the Steelers can beat the Bengals, because we can't afford to lose this game. This is a game you cannot afford to lose. You have to win this game. This is now the second half of the schedule. You need to step up, and it needs to happen now. I'm tired of it being the same story under this coaching staff with this team. We've got the talent, but when it comes to it, it feels like now in the NFL, the second that you get your paycheck with seeing that big $1 or $20 million or $108 million contract, it's like the players just say fuck the fans, and that's pretty much what it is. They're giving the fans the middle finger when they get a big payout. And then they go off to play like they don't even know what they're doing. But anyway, next on this topic is the defense. Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. We had 2 turnovers, I believe, and 1 sack. One was a forced fumble. Didn't do anything with it. And then another was an interception by Dante Jackson. Didn't do anything with that either on offense. Our red zone offense is, once again, horrible, and it just continues to show. Arthur Smith just, once he gets like past the 50 or something, get past the 50, it's like he doesn't know what to do afterwards. He doesn't know what to scheme. We've been the past few weeks moving the ball up until the Browns game, and when we got up to the Ravens, we couldn't get hardly anything going versus one of the worst passing defenses, or one of the worst defenses against the pass. Just pathetic, man. And then the Browns come around and you think it couldn't get worse, it still gets worse. We cannot sit here and continue to play half-assed and being conservative with a conservative coordinator, which is what Arthur Smith is. I'm not ready yet to sit here and say that he needs to go. But if the reports are true about that the Steelers and people in the organization are getting tired of it, or are kind of, not seeing where this team could go with him, and if it is true, then I 100% agree. He needs to do better. He needs to get our tight ends involved. He needs to scheme things up, at least get Williams involved in the receiver room. Because the biggest, number one, why did you scheme it around on a 2-point conversion to go solely to Cordell Patterson? He's not a 50-50 guy. He's just not. He's not a 50-50 guy. That's why you got guys like George Pickens and Mike Williams. Those are 50-50 dudes. And we just continue to do the obvious stuff, like when we put Justin Fields in, everybody and their damn brother know what Pittsburgh's going to do when they put Justin Fields in. They're going to run the QB option and run it with Justin Fields. Now, granted, on one play it did work, but when he came back out, it's like, well, they knew exactly what was coming. You cannot be predictable in the NFL. You have to be aggressive. And I like that they were being aggressive in this game, but there's there's such a thing as too aggressive. Too aggressive. And that's what we were at times. I want you to be aggressive, but being too aggressive, the difference between aggressive and too aggressive is the too aggressive, it costs you. Well, the aggressive, regular aggressive, helps you. Don't shoot yourself in the foot, and this is going to show if the Steelers are legit contenders or they're fakes. December 1st, we go to Cincinnati and we face the Bengals versus a high-powered passing game offense. Now, their offensive line hasn't been really too good this year, and neither has their defense. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like their offense hasn't been making splash plays for Burrow, because they have. And Burrow and Jamar Chase are having their best seasons yet ever since getting drafted by the Bengals. And still to this day, I'll say it again, they should have went with a offensive line in Cincinnati. Cincinnati should have went with offensive line the year they drafted Jamar Chase. I get it. I know why they wanted Jamar, because it's the fairy tale story that you would make up in a book where you get to join your former teammate. It's not really a fairy tale. George Pickens, Darnell Washington, Roderick Jones. I'm just saying. But yeah, while while it's good to see those two playing great, uh, you really got to stop them. What we need to see on Sunday is the Deontay Johnson and Joey Porter Jr. from the beginning of the season during week 1, where they were week 1, week 2, and stuff like that, leading up, just playing lockdown defense for us at the cornerback position. Because that's what you're going to need to do versus this Bengals team. T. Higgins, who will be a free agent after this season, I still don't see him returning to Cincinnati after this season, considering that they did not give him a contract for God knows why. So yeah, the Bengals right now have a record of what, 4-7? Yeah, 4-7. And this is going to be another one of those trap game things where are you going to take your opponent seriously after seeing which the Browns had a 2-8 record, only won 2 games this season, and you look at how we performed in Cleveland, Ohio. Or Ohio, whatever the fuck you want to call it anymore. I literally only call it Ohio. But we went into Cleveland, played down to them, did not take them seriously, and it bit us in the ass. That right there is exactly what stops this team from winning Super Bowls, to winning playoffs. You go in half-assed, and you can't do that. But I hope we can clean it up. I know they said, and Mike Tomlin said in practice, they've been working on the red zone thing, but that's in practice. I want to see them do it in the actual game, because you can practice it all you want, unless you translate it to the game that is ahead of you, then it's pointless. In which the Steelers, once again, have not done in the red zone this season. We had one touchdown, or one rushing touchdown, and it was Jaylen Warren. Did he have one? I think he had one. Am I reading that correct? He had one. Okay, Russell Wilson had a rushing touchdown, I think it was a sneak. Maybe it wasn't. Jaylen Warren had a rushing touchdown. And afterwards, the only receiving touchdown we got was of Calvin Austin. This is, yeah. I mean, look at how horrendous some of these numbers are on defense. Elandon Roberts, 3 tackles. One tackle, which that was Ben Skowronek, Ben Skowronek on special teams. Beanie Bishop had 2 of them. 4 tackles by Watt. 6 by Peyton Wilson. 6 by Deshaun Elliott. Miles Killebrew on special teams had 1. Joey Porter, 6. Cam Sutton, 1. And the rest of it's 1, 3, and 4. 6 and 7. 7 and 3, yeah. 6, 7, and 3. we had 2 forced fumbles. One by Deshaun Elliott, and the second by Dante Jackson. And I'll just point this out. I know people are going to get ass hurt over this. I don't really care because I call it the way I see it instead of ignoring the obvious. But this season, Minka's been playing good football, but he is just getting blown up versus tight ends and stuff. He has been getting blown up something fierce. I mean, getting burnt every time. He's not staying with them. I know how people feel they love Minka, but that does not excuse him of how he's played these past couple games. And pretty much sometimes through the season, he's really been missing tackles and hasn't stayed with anybody. I understand people aren't throwing his way. You don't want to test those waters. But when I look at this team, I don't ever in my life, I'm never going to sit here and say, well, he just had a rough couple games. He'll get back into it. No. You got to go out there and play. I don't care how you make the play. I don't care who has you making the play or what you're schemed in. If you see a player that you can tackle, you need to tackle them. You don't just wait for them to hesitate or do a hezi or a move, which is stupid in the NFL nowadays. You have to wait for a football player to do a football move in order to make a play. Just like that freaking phony ass freaking flag versus the Colts on Minka, which was horseshit. It's a fucking pussy league now. But anyway, yeah, this team's got to play better. Got to play better. This defense in general, especially in the red zone, needs to play better. No fucking excuses. Everybody wants to make an excuse on how this team is not playing. You know, how this team, even people think they should play good or the best because they're the highest paid defense in the league. Yeah, retard, that's the whole point. You're the highest paid defense in the entire football league. Keyword football league. National Football League. And you need to play up to par because the biggest thing that pisses me off year in and year out about this team is that whenever we have a chance to go on runs, we essentially don't do them. Because like I said, right now we're sitting at 8-3. Hang on. I'm not worried yet. But if they start going on a losing streak here, I'm going to be worried as all get out. Because you got the Bengals. Then you go back home to face the Browns. It's AFC North football. It's going to be tough no matter what. But here's my prediction. And I'll just say this right now. I'll say, and I might be wrong again, we get the win versus the Bengals because we usually play pretty good against them. Hopefully we do. I have us getting the win there. I have us beating the Browns in Pittsburgh. We go to Philadelphia. We lose there. Uh, then we'll go to the Ravens. I have us sweeping the Ravens, lo- losing to the Chiefs until proven otherwise that we can get a win versus them. And I believe we sweep the Bengals. And I might be wrong about every bit of that. But the way I see it, we get a win versus the Bengals and Browns, lose to the Eagles, sweep the Ravens, lose to the Chiefs, and then we sweep the Bengals in the final game of the season. We can't afford to just half-ass it. We need to do better. We need to do better because it's just ridiculous that this is the same story every single time. We need to get on a run, which I do believe we will. I think that Mike Tomlin has told these guys, you've got to get on a run. You've got to go out. You've got to be playing more aggressive and play more smarter. And I know he's talked to Arthur Smith that he's got to make better play calls. And yeah, I don't know. But speaking of Arthur Smith, news in the football world right now is that where UNC fired Mac Brown, Arthur Smith is one of the candidates to land the job at UNC. Now, depending on if he takes it or not, that's remaining to be seen. It'll just leave us in another predicament where we need to find another OC, and my fear is with that is the Steelers are going to half-ass it again and just find a conservative offensive coordinator instead of a aggressive offensive coordinator. I still would like Ben Johnson if, let's just say, for instance, if Arthur Smith would leave. I'd love to get Ben Johnson, or love for us to get Ben Johnson. And let's just say another thing. Defensive coordinator Terrell Austin, if he was to be let go. And I'm going to say this just for the fact that if Terrell Austin is gone after this season, which he won't be, if this particular coordinator is available, I would love to get him. And Brian Flores. I would love to get Brian Flores as the defensive coordinator. I said that when we picked him up before. I'll say it again, just like any other fan. He is so good at the blitz, it's ridiculous. He can disguise the blitz with a passing defense in the secondary. His defense he lets his defense play so free-willing. And that's what I feel like Pittsburgh has not had in a long time. We had that in Dick LeBeau, where he would scheme up these plays, and Dick LeBeau's Dick LeBeau. You'll never be Dick LeBeau. But when I look at those two in completely different coordinators, free-willing, Dick LeBeau had that, free-willing to let the players just be playing fast and getting to the quarterback and stopping the run. That's what you miss. That's what football is now. You've got to be able to play fast. And that's what I love about freaking Brian Flores. I don't know why it took me. I just said his name, and I'm having one of those days. That's what I love about Brian Flores. He just knows what to do. But anyway, this is the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. And yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think we get a win? I hope we do. But I will see you guys in the next upload before Sunday's game for the pre-recap for the Bengals.